as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day.
Living in Marbella is a privilege, but finding the right place to live is very, very important, which is why going to a respected real estate agency is very important. The first international real estate agent in Marbella, in fact, was Panorama, and Christoher Clover is the founder, CEO, the reason of being of this real estate agent, and you have survived through literally thick and thin, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Marbella Now, Christoher. It's lovely to be able to chat with you. Before we talk about this amazing report that you and your company have prepared about the real estate history of Marbella and where we are today, more importantly, you've been in Marbella since the beginning, since the boom, before the boom.
Well, since 1970. That's 48 years.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the boom. My grandparents were here in the 60s, but you came in at the beginning and you literally have helped develop what is today this amazing city. What does it feel like to see it now?
Well, fantastic. It's not as it was. A lot of people like places as they used to be, but that's evolution. No place today is like it used to be 40 or 50 years ago. But Marbella, we actually targeted Marbella to open an office here.
Where did you come from originally? What were you doing before?
From Virginia. And my father in 1968 purchased an international real estate agency called Panorama, coincidentally, and or not coincidentally, and he targeted Marbella, which was then a new jet set location for all of Europe. No? Everyone who was anyone in the mid-50s to the during the 60s was in Marbella. It was in the press, and he targeted it with a French associate of his at the time as the future prime residential area of Europe.
Such foresight.
A lot of foresight in those years. But a lot of other people had that foresight at the same time, which is why it was popular among the jet set category. And
but
now,
talking about the jet set category and yourself coming from the States, it's probably to do with all the permits and what have you, but why do you think we don't have more Americans here? Because you opened the way, and yet we don't have such a large American community as one would like.
well, we started off opening an office mostly to receive charter flights of investors from America. And there was a time when villas were $10,000, $15,000 at the time, and apartments and townhouses $5,000 to $10,000 or more. No? And immediately we started work to also establish our roots as a local real estate agency, taking resale properties on our books. But we brought in plane loads. The largest flight that we brought in at the time of an inspection flight from people from all over the states, leaving from one departure point, which is either Washington or New York, was 170 people. No? Then a recession came in the mid-70s, and Mother office closed. My father kept his real estate office in Charlottesville, Virginia. But we had a choice, my first wife, Kirsten, and I. Either we go back or we stay and we make a run out of it. And we were already doing very well. In 1974, before our main office in Washington closed, I already had my first administration client, who was David Sermoon, the owner, eventual owner of the Marbella Club in
Puente Romano.
Yeah. And I'm very close with his children today.
But that legacy is lovely, because your children now are also following in footsteps of, and are very much involved in your business, very much now the face of your business. Obviously you deserve to have a little bit more of a backseat.
Well, like my father, like my grandfather, because my grandfather was an agent opening his first agency in Chicago in 1904.
Wow.
So we're 4 generations in the business, and now we're 27 people in our company, which is terrific. I'm surrounded by caring, incredible professional people who are of a tremendous support and a pleasure to work with in my day home.
Well, it's lovely. As you were saying, a lot of changes have happened in the city over the last 40 years, but those emblematic, iconic places like Marbella Club, Puente Romano, the Melia Don Pepe are still there, which I suppose keeps it our old town, which a lot of people don't go to visit, which is amazing to me, because it is unique to our city to have these privileged areas. Choosing an area to live when you come to Marbella isn't as easy as you think. We have 27-kilometer stretch, and there's very much different nationalities that have nestled themselves in different areas. So it's important to get the advice of an established company that knows the areas. How do you begin to even assess where to put people?
Well, a lot of it depends on the experience of the client or potential client in Marbella. Some of the people who come to us for help in finding a home, they've been to Marbella 20 times over the last 15 years, and they might know Marbella very well, and they might know exactly where they want to be. But others who have maybe come 2, 3, 4 times don't know the different residential areas of Marbella. So with that type of client, we try to take a typical property within the parameters of what they're looking for in several residential areas. Say, right, this is a residential area, and this is a typical property which might fit your criteria within this residential area. And little by little, they will figure out, well, you know, I really feel best, because it's your inner voice which calls you for these things. I really feel most comfortable, but I don't know why, here or there or in a third place. And there's some wonderful different residential areas which aren't necessarily ultra prime, Golden Mile, beachside, which are available in Marbella, east of town, and behind San Pedro. And you know, we really work, we agencies work greater Marbella. So, I mean, there would be Benavides, and there would be the New Golden Mile as well. So there's a tremendous variety that suit. I mean, there's some people who say, well, listen, I don't care, because I can have this beautiful house that might be in the New Golden Mile, you know, or in a less popular residential area. But I don't care about having to be in one area or another, because I'm comfortable in this area and I don't need the ultra prime areas to fulfill our requirements.
Panorama, together with Christoher Clover, have prepared a great report. Where can they go to get this whole report that you prepared, Christoher?
Well, it's online at www.panorama.es. It's also in our magazine, which is called registered trademark Marbella. It's called the Marbella Property Magazine, which is available in several.
Very classy, not just a real estate agency. Christoher, it's been a pleasure to chat with you.
Nicole,
we've run
thank you
out
very
of
much,
time, but
appreciate
it's
it.
an honour actually, sitting with the guy who started it all off. One of them, anyway. Thank you, Chris.
It's survived.
And survive. Yes.
It's because I'm difficult.
No.
I am.
No, you don't say. It's a pleasure. Thank you,
Pleasure.
Christoher.
Thank you. Bye bye.